Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Welcome back to the channel guys, I hope that all of you are doing well. It's time for another mini fragrance world haul. Today I got delivered these three fragrances. The first one is from Athoor Alam, which is a sub-brand of Fragrance World, and it's called Zakariyat Lux. The second one is from Fragrance World themselves, and it's called Azara Men. And the third one is again from Fragrance World, and it's called Invicto Victorious Elixir. Now, two of the fragrances I have pretty much a good idea how they smell. The third one I have absolutely no idea how it smells. So today I'm going to unpack them and try them for the first time for you guys. I'm going to start off with the one fragrance that I have absolutely no idea how it smells. It's a Zakaria Lux from Athoor Alam. Okay, so this is how the box looks. You get that golden color up front, and on the back there's black color, some black color. Inside it looks like this. You're getting this sort of a scroll thing that I'm not going to go through right now. I'll leave that for the full review. And then this is how the bottle looks. It has some interesting design. Now, when it comes to the note breakdown of this fragrance, the note breakdown has the following notes. The top notes are cardamom, ginger, and bergamot. The middle notes are cinnamon, coffee, and myrrh, and the base notes are tobacco, vanilla, and tonka bean. This is the sprayer. It's actually a decent sprayer. Now, supposedly this is a clone of Armani's Magenta Tanzanite. Now, I've never tried the original fragrance. I have no idea how that one smells. And this one is actually very interesting. Kind of reminds me in the opening of something like Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille. A little bit, maybe because of the vanilla note in the opening of this fragrance. It feels a little bit fresh. Maybe there are some kind of citruses used in the opening of this fragrance. And I also pick up a sort of a coffee note out of this one. It smells really interesting, kind of sweet, a lot of sweetness in the opening of this fragrance. Okay, so I'll give it some time, and I'll come back to see how the dry down of Zakaria Lux is going. The next one that I'm going to try is Azara Men from Fragrance World. It comes in this sort of very golden, very flashy looking box, excuse me. And then this is how the bottle looks. It has an interesting design, again very flashy, and probably it will be a fingerprint magnet. Now, as far as I know, this fragrance is supposedly a clone of Tom Ford's Black Orchid Parfum. So I'm going to take a test strip and see how this one smells. Sprayer seems to be a bit weak. And now onto the scent of Azara Men. Definitely carries that black orchid DNA, but the opening here feels a little bit darker. I pick up a sort of a plum note in the opening of this fragrance. There's something interesting like a chocolatey vibe out of it, but it feels darker compared to to the original fragrance, to the original black orchid, not the parfum. So this definitely is a clone of the parfum version. Also feels quite sweet, and in fact it feels sweeter than I remember Black Orchid Parfum to smell. But you immediately pick up that this is a clone of Black Orchid, that family of fragrances, if you're familiar with the original scents. Okay, I'll give this one again some time to settle down, and then I'll come back for the dry down. And now let's check out the third fragrance, again from Fragrance World, Invicto Victorious Elixir. This one is supposedly a clone of Paco Rabanne's Invicta's Victory Elixir. Get this black colored bottle box with some golden accents. And then this is how the bottle looks. It has an interesting design and definitely not very reminiscent of the original scent. Let's see how this one smells. Okay, sprayer seems to be alright, maybe a little bit on the weaker side. And onto the scent of Invicto Victorious Elixir. When you spray this, and if you know how the original fragrance smells, you immediately recognize that this is a clone of Invictus Victory Elixir. And to be honest, this seems to be like a damn good clone of the original fragrance. You're immediately hit by that very sweet scent profile that the original fragrance has. And man, it's almost identical right from the first spray. Really interesting. Usually clone fragrances, they tend to miss the mark when it comes to the opening, and they get closer on the dry down. But Invicto Victorious Elixir definitely seems like super close right from the get-go, right from the first second you spray this one. Okay, so I'll give this one again some time to settle, and I'll come back for the dry down. Okay, so about 1 hour has passed since I tried all 3 fragrances, and I'm going to quickly go over the dry downs. And again, I'm going to start in the same order, and I'm going to first talk about Zakaria Lux from Athoor Alam. As I said, this fragrance reminded me quite strongly of Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille in the opening, and the dry down makes no difference. It still feels kind of close to Tobacco Vanille. You get that vanillic, sweet tobacco based fragrance, but on the dry down you're introduced by some more interesting notes. There's a touch of incense, not a touch actually, quite a strong incense note in this fragrance, adding a little bit of a Middle Eastern touch to it. And also one other note that's introduced on the dry down of this fragrance is the note of coffee, making this scent profile very interesting. Just think of something like Tobacco Vanille with an added coffee note and some quite strong incense vibes to it as well. Very interesting fragrance, quite sweet, and at least so far from what I've gathered about this one, it seems to be a perfectly unisex scent. I'll continue testing this one, and I'll come up with a full review of Zakaria Lux. The next one, of course, is Azara Men, and as I said, this fragrance is supposedly a clone of Tom Ford's Black Orchid Parfum, and it definitely is a clone of Black Orchid Parfum. It feels kind of darker, a little bit more sweet compared to the original Black Orchid, and on the dry down there's also started to pick up a sort of a boozy note in this fragrance. The original fragrance has a rum note, and I think Fragrance World have used something similar in the dry down of Azara Men as well. It's like taking the original Black Orchid and adding a little bit more sweetness, a little bit more darkness, and a little bit more masculinity to the scent profile. And so far it seems to be a very decent clone of Black Orchid Parfum. I'll continue testing this one as well, and I'll come up with a full review of Azara Men as well. And the dry down of Invicto Victorious Elixir. As I said, this fragrance is a clone of Invictus Victory Elixir. The opening was almost completely spot on, and the dry down makes no difference, it's almost completely spot on. The dry down is still like the opening, very sweet. You get that vanilla sweetness, you get some amber sweetness, there's also some powderness from a tonka bean note in here. A very likable, very sweet scent that will probably get a lot of compliments, just like the original fragrance does. So far seems to be also quite strong as well, and all in all it seems to be a real sort of a great find and a real great job from Fragrance World when it comes to copying the original fragrance. I'll keep testing this one out, and again I'll do a full review of Invicto Victorious Elixir. And so guys, in today's video I unboxed and tried for the first time 3 scents from the House of Fragrance World. The first one is from their sub-brand Athoor Alam, and it's called Zakaria Lux. A very interesting fragrance that seems to be like a mix between like a Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille with an added coffee touch and an added incense vibe, giving it a little bit of a Middle Eastern vibe, and seems to be a very interesting unisex fragrance. The second one is called Azara Men, and this fragrance, at least so far, seems to be a very decent clone of Tom Ford's Black Orchid Parfum. And the third one was Invicto Victoria's Elixir, a great clone, at least from my initial impressions of Paco Rabanne's Invicta's Victory Elixir. I hope that you found this video interesting. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me in the next one. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.